Welcome to OnToTrade's Week in Review. Looking at last week's forecast on Friday and what I anticipated the market to do coming this week. My forecast was this 971 or the 91.75. And if we stay below there, might see movements towards 57.75. Well, on Monday, we shot down there, ended up holding, and then moved right back to my big macro view and shot up, came very close to hitting where I was looking for that big upside target range up towards 55.75. Leading into next week, I want to see how much more of this upside movement we get, but I can still see that we could still hit 55.75. Now, if there's no strength to break that, I'm going to look for movements back towards the 91.75 area. And if that holds, I'm going to look for movements back long. But if we break that, I'm going to start looking for movements back towards 57 by the end of the week. Now, if we do have a very weak pullback, may see a little consolidation first. And then I'm going to look for another stronger move up towards 98.75 by the end of the week. Now a little week in review on the NQ. My big macro view was 752. If I was below there, was looking for some downside movement, but it ended up being very weak, holding at one of my big macro prices, 590, but I anticipated the low would get to 458. Didn't quite get down there, set up a good long opportunity the rest of the week. Broke that big macro 752 and was looking to have movement towards 18,085.75. Missed it by 7 points, but very close to the target I was looking to hit if we could break that big macro view of 752. All right, looking into next week on the NQ. May see some weak movement up to the upside. I'm going to see what happens up near this 18,163 area. But if I can't really push strongly above that, I'm actually going to look for some consolidation or some actually downside movement come next week on the NQ back towards the 752. But I will monitor any of that downside. Now, if it's pretty weak, again, may see some consolidation before, to me, a head fake up towards 163. In a bigger move, we get some kind of correction and get back below that 752. I'm going to be looking back for 458. A little week in review on crude oil. Big macro picture. As long as I was above 72.37, was still looking for movements towards the 75. Well, kind of pushed back above and kind of was looking at that price to see what would take place at the high end of the week. Moved all the way back down to that 72.37 and started moving long the rest of the week off of that big macro price I was looking for to move long, and actually moved above the 75.72 throughout the whole week coming off that big macro view. Now for this coming week, I'm going to really pay attention to 77.39. And if I can't get above it, I'm going to look for some movement back short towards 75.72. Now, if there's not a whole lot of strength coming back down to that 75.72, I'm going to look for movements to possibly break 77.39 and make that attempt to break that 78 and move up towards 78.57 by the end of the week.